Hello and welcome to another Saturday Do As We Do live. I'm that Kimberly, and this is my guest and Do As We Do a volunteer helper. Kris, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kris. I am the full-time caregiver for my grandma Mary, who lives with Alzheimer's. She's lived with me since March of 2017. You probably hear her right now doing the dishes back there. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. Happy to help out, do as we do.
Awesome. Well, we're grateful for all you do as a family caregiver, as well as your help in beating the drum and spreading the word for our second annual self-care gift. I'll probably figure out a better name for it in the future, but we just need to get straight to the point.
We're just rolling with it now.
Yeah,
we're just getting it out there. That's what matters. Yeah.
That's the most important thing, right? So for those who don't know, Do As We Do is a nonprofit, a 501c3 that helps family caregivers with financial assistance, education, resources around their self-care and their helping as they help their loved ones, because that's super important. And when we first started and the research I started to do back in 2017, there was a term that I had, learned about, and it was caregiving kills the caregiver. And that term basically put me into OMG mode. And why aren't more people talking about the family caregiver and how it affects them when their loved one doesn't talk to them about what they want? I mean, I know that the way my parents were they took care of their parents, but it was just kind of unspoken. It was done. My dad would always say, just put me out in the pasture, but that doesn't really work. Put me, it's not, that's not going to happen, Dad. So, and for all those who say, oh, I'll just deal with it when I get there. No, we don't want that. That's why Do As We Do was created, so that we could start talking about this conversation. We encourage people to talk about, it's not about dying, about living, and you can no longer care for yourself. Because 1% of the world will be able to afford the care. And then there's a percentage of the world that can qualify, but there's a huge gap in the middle for all those who don't qualify for anything, because they own a car, because they own a house, because they own anything of value in just about any state, right? On top of if they get Social Security, a pension, anything like that. So it's everybody in the middle. And then their family or one person in their family takes that on, the overages. So, and on top of giving up their careers or less, or taking less jobs or doing less hours. So even if they get any kind of compensation, they still are making less than they normally would. So we want people to be talking about this and understanding what goes into this. Like for you, Kris, talk a little bit about what you did. And I don't know any other word than to use, what you passed on or gave up on so that you could take on your grandmother's care full time.
Yeah. So, at the start of her diagnosis, I wasn't doing it 24/7. I went to work like most people do. And when I came home, that's when the full-time duties came. We hired a caregiver to stay with her while I was at work, or if my family was able to, we had a system in place. But unfortunately, that was in the early stages when she was still very self-sufficient and able to do things on her own. As she progressed, when the pandemic hit, I noticed, wow, she really shouldn't be home alone at all.
Yeah.
We used to leave her home alone here, there, and so then I realized, she needs 24-hour care, and 24-hour care to pay for is impossible.
Yeah.
Well,
it's expensive, and finding the people that are qualified. Quality. Yeah, the quality. And it's not it's because because people don't know, like they, one, don't know about that they could be doing this as a career. Two, they're not trained properly, and they're not paid accordingly. So all three of those things.
100%, all those factors.
Yeah.
All of those factors. And so, yeah, I stepped down. I was an assistant manager at a portrait studio, and I stepped down from my full-time position to stay home with my grandma, to be the one to watch her and care for her. And so, yeah, it definitely is a pay cut. It's a work, like, I feel like I've stepped back from kind of living almost, because I'm no longer doing things that I normally would do. My whole life now is, she's first and I'm kind of secondary. So yeah, I definitely, it is what it is. I would do it over and over again because I love my grandma, and I am a believer that life is meant to be lived. And so this is our journey. You know, everyone's life looks different. Everyone's life can be different. And so, I don't regret it. It is hard. It is definitely something that I wish was easier or more accommodating for caregivers, if there was more out there for us. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, if I didn't step down from my full-time job, we would have ran out of money to pay for a caregiver to come stay with my grandma, because I was making less than we were paying the caregiver.
Wow.
So like, we had family help and this, that, and the other thing, and it just became too much.
Yeah. For sure.
So yeah, this is where we're at now. I've been doing it since the pandemic, full time.
Well, you doing a great job, and with everybody saying hello, I got to say thank you guys for joining us. Alice, Sharon, Reva, Lynn, Starla. Alice says she loves you all, and Shanita says yes, she loves you all as well. It is definitely a heartfelt commitment. Whether you have a great relationship with your loved one or not, you're doing it, you know, because it's something in your heart that compels you to do this type. You know, it is. I took my mom on full time during the pandemic as well. Luckily, we get along pretty well, but it is really, what do you call it? I don't know what to say. It is you have to make all kinds of gut-wrenching decisions.
That's kind of when I was talking about it, I was like, yeah, it is what it is. This is where we're at right now. And you choose what's the best option and what works best for you.
Yeah. So, oh, wait, sorry, Shannon.
Didn't say my name. We love you, Shannon.
Yes, we do. We appreciate your support, and do as we do was started to focus on the family caregiver. It is a 501c3. All the money that we raise from little campaigns throughout the year, from Facebook campaigns to Funnily campaigns to we're actually putting on a pickleball tournament. All that money. Yes, Graham.
She just had to interrupt.
That's
Listen
okay.
up, everybody.
We're
She's
listening.
happy. She wants everyone to know she's happy.
Well, that's what matters.
Exactly.
So we might. We appreciate you, Grams. So all the money that we raise.
She might not stop talking.
That's all right.
When she says I can get their mother, she'll know.
All right, girl. I gotcha.
Well, all the money that is raised is going to our annual giveaway. This year, we are hoping to, it's a gift of a minimum. I don't know the exact amount. Last year, we gave away $400. And this year, we're hoping to have a minimum of 400, but depending on how many people apply, we take that money and we divide it so that way we can give everybody a minimum of $400. Maybe it'll be a little bit more this year. I don't know. We'll keep our fingers crossed and see what happens, right? It's very, since we are all volunteers, it is something that, you know, we're just kind of rolling with. When the money comes in, we want to give it away to family caregivers that need that self-care. And this is for you as the caregiver, not your loved one, right?
Yes. Put that money towards you. Something you want to do, you know, all for you. Spa day, get a hotel room for the night, you know, whatever it looks like. Go out drinking, partying for a little bit, whatever works for you.
Yes.
Yes, do something for you.
Yeah, it's self-care for you, because self-care is not selfish. It is something I had to learn due to the pandemic. I wasn't taking care of myself, and I definitely felt the effects. My mom felt the effects, and it's not good. The fact that more caregivers die before their loved ones is something that needs to stop. We need to start having conversations about you know, self-care and what we want to do when we live, and we don't die, but we live. What do we want done if we can't care for ourselves anymore, right? It's super important. I'm gonna throw up the banner of the application. You can talk about applying.
Yeah, definitely. So there is a link in my bio on Instagram and TikTok, but you can always check out Do As We Do as well. And this is how you will apply. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to apply through the link in our bios, and that will send off the application process. But we do want you to write or record your story. So share your story about your caregiving, who you care for, what it's like, what would you do with this self-care gift. And then you're going to share that. So you're going to share that on Instagram or Facebook and tag Do As We Do. I suppose you could share it on Twitter as well then, if you don't have Instagram or Facebook, or are we just doing Instagram and Facebook?
We have a Twitter. Do As We Do has a Twitter. So if you want to do that as well, absolutely. I should probably put Twitter as well, just in case. But we have.
Yeah, I just saw that I saw the Twitter thing, and I was like, oh, maybe they could do it there too, because I know some people use different platforms. So
yes.
But yes, we do want you to apply and then share, tagging Do As We Do. So
very important.
It's a 2-step process, but it's super simple to get free money. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean, money that you need for, because what people don't understand is, like, you're not only do you supplement for your family, you know, for who you're caring for, but then that takes away from anything. We always give to our loved one first before we think about ourselves. And this time, this is for the family caregiver, not for your loved one. Yes, Grams, we agree.
She said, you've been ignoring me long enough, girlfriend. Come on, I'm going to join your live.
Tell her, come on. We can have her on. Join us, Grams.
What you doing, girlfriend? You playing with your baby? She finished breakfast, so now she's like, okay, it's playtime. Where are you?
She has a pretty baby.
She does. It's twins. There's another one floating around here somewhere.
Just in case the first one gets misplaced.
Yeah. But I just want to let everybody know one more time, because I don't want to deter from this, because this is really important, and this is for the caregivers. So make sure that you apply. The deadline is going to be November 6th. She's taking my phone.
Hi, Grams.
So the deadline is November 6th, and then the winners will be announced on December 3rd. So you have some time there to apply.
Yes.
So definitely make sure you do, because we want to help you out.
Yes. And this is a 100% volunteered organization. So either myself or one of our volunteers will reach out to verify that that information that was submitted is you. We have to do a little bit of vetting. If you're caring for someone that has some form of dementia, that qualifies you. You have to tell us your story. You know, it can't just be like, I take care of the X person and that's it. Like, we need you to tell us what you do, how long you've been doing it, who that person is to you, what you're going to use the money for, what your day looks like as a caregiver, because people need to be talking about this this act of love that caregivers do for their loved ones, we need to be talking about it. It needs to be, on the forefront, like, sex ed talk was back in the day. It is not, this is something we've been living with, since, forever. I saw my parents take care of their parents, and nobody ever wanted to talk about it. And we should be talking about it. It is important. Now more than ever, especially since 2011, 10,000 people have been turning 65. So I know there's a lot of family caregivers out there. So we want people to be spreading the word about what they're doing, not be ashamed of it. Don't think that you're alone, because you're not. That there's a community here for you. And this gift is for you to do whatever it is, whatever self-care that you need. Yeah. So it's super important. You went silent on me. Does that mean Grams wants to talk?
You don't see me anymore?
I see you. It just got really quiet. Like what's Grams doing over there?
Oh, no, I'm just trying to, I'm kind of holding my breath because it's the time of day where I don't know what's going to come out of her mouth. So I'm sitting here like, what's next?
Hey, laughter is the best medicine. So,
we do it all day long. I always say lead with love and laughter. That's the way to get by.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's caregiving journey looks different. So that's the other reason why we're asking caregivers that apply for this self-care gift that they share what their journey is like, because more people need to understand that there's all walks of life effects. This family caregiving is not, doesn't look just one way, and it affects everybody, right? Like, I can't tell you how many times I've talked to somebody who shares a story with me, and the dynamic that how it affects their family as a whole is heartbreaking sometimes when they're not prepared. And 9 times out of 10, nobody's really prepared, right? Like,
you're not ready until it's at your door. You don't expect it, or you don't think about it, or it's always later, and then it's late. So really talking about it early, talking about it now, getting life plans. Yes, I think death is something that we fear so much in our world, but it is a part of our life. It's something we need to accept. It should be as accepted as birth. It should be as we should be. Everyone has a birthing plan, right? Why doesn't everyone have a death plan? Why don't why isn't it accepted? Because when you have a baby, you don't just have a baby. You take 9 months to figure out what's going to happen. So we don't know when the end is. So we need to talk about it sooner than later, and we need to figure it out. Because again, it does affect everyone, especially dementias. It's gonna trickle down and affect everyone in the family. So and according to Google, 10 million plus caregivers that are over the age of 50 who care for a parent or a loved one, there's an estimated $3 trillion lost in wages, pension, retirement benefits, because that family caregiver is supplementing whatever their family member, the person who has the cognitive disease, whatever they need, right? So we're not prepared, right? If you're not talking about it in advance, then you're definitely going to be not prepared. And you made the best reference point of, you have a birth plan, and they talk about it. There's some people who want children, they know from the time that, they're able to understand, that they can be a parent, they start planning that. So why aren't we planning what our later years look like? It's not even around death. Like I want you to be talking about it 10 years before something like that happens. If you the day you buy a car or a house or anything of value, you should be talking about it, because then you won't be able to get any assistance. Like, that is huge. Oh yeah, you just put your money towards where you're not going to be able to.
Correct.
You own something now.
Yes. I just found out that Medicare will cover certain amount, like up to 6 months for the caregiver. No, I'm sorry. Well, if you have a loved one that goes into hospice, if they go into hospice, Medicare will cover therapy for the caregiver while they're in there. Well, this is in Texas. I don't know if this is all over the place,
Okay, that's
but
incredible.
and then afterwards, but they don't do anything leading up to that person going into hospice. And that's when the family caregiver
Needs it.
needs to start it, because, the after the fact is great, but that is a whole other type of sadness. That's a whole other type of, but when you're taking care of someone who is in cognitive decline, you need to better understand, your emotions, your feelings. You need someone pushing you to get that self-care, right? Like you
That
went on.
grief is real. That grief of losing while they're still here is sometimes so intense, and you have to know how to process. I also think being a caregiver for dementia, therapy is extremely important to learn how to regulate your own emotions.
Yes.
Because they're not able to. And
Correct.
so you don't want to, like, right now a normal person would be like, stop doing that. Like, stop going in the cabinet. I got the Pam, I got the salt, she's literally bringing me everything.
She wants to make something today. That's the sign, right?
But so, it's all about how you process your own self. And I think therapy is extremely important in that.
Absolutely. Area. Yes. And being able to also understand that you're not the only like it's normal to be going through these emotions, right? And that to give yourself grace to be able to take on every single day, to get up every single day and do it again, because it becomes very monotonous, right? Like you have to have a routine. Even though everybody, your dementia looks different in everybody's brain. You said it the best on one of our last lives about everybody's brain is different. Therefore, everybody's, dementia and care is going to be different. So we need, having help to process that is absolutely necessary more than ever. It's something that we know that people should be talking about now, not later. We don't want them talking about it later, because, not that it'd be too late, but it kind of will be, because you might not be put in a place or with someone that you really, that's really what your wishes are. And it's very important to be discussing that. What's your plan? That's why it says, what's your plan if you can no longer care for yourself?
I love it.
Yeah.
Really important.
And Do As We Do's name came about because my mom always used to tell me, don't do as I do, but do as I say. And when it came to caregiving, I was like, no, we need to be doing as we do, not as we like, let's do it. Let's show people how we do this. And you do a great job of putting that out there and showing people what your journey looks like. And that's what we want this community and what Do As We Do Foundation is, to help share those stories and be a platform for people to be able to speak about, as well as learn. We, in the link that I'm going to put up right now, you can go to this link tree. You can apply there. One last time, you can apply there. I'll share this. Oops, that's the wrong. Well, that's our stats. Hold on. Yeah, that's truly the problem. So this is what the link will take you to, the assistance form, and then also where you can follow us and where you can apply after you fill out the simple application form. There's also some free resources on there to, there's a customized traveling card, or like if you go out to restaurants, you can customize your own card there. So that way it can help with, onlookers, so that you can tell people, that your loved one might have some sort of cognitive disability, so that you don't have to have any kind of confrontation with those people in front of your loved one. But they just know what's going on, because the, perception is our loved one's reality, but everyone else, it looks different, right?
Yep.
So it's super important. Did I bring up the other? Ooh, I did not. I'm losing. Okay. Well, my technology is, but no, we appreciate you, Kris, so much for sharing this message and for getting it out there. We'll be back with you on the 22nd. I'll circle back with you. But the deadline is November the 6th to apply. link in bio and this link down here. And then the winners will be announced December the 3rd.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you all have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you're not quite sure what qualifies, please reach out to myself or Kris. But yeah, it's a gift for the caregivers that we want to give away. So
yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, we appreciate your time so much, Kris, and we appreciate everyone for joining us this morning. Have a great rest of your day.
You as well. Thank you so much. And everyone go apply, follow, and check out Do As We Do Foundation. Incredible things happening. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Bye.